Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.
Legends 34, I think we're at episode 9. The train is on the track and it keeps rolling. We did have Richard Johnson scheduled today, but due to some inclement weather, we're going to have to reschedule him for another time. But hey, we're going to make it do what we can at the band barracks. We were all hyped up. We was ready to bling on them boys, man.
We're going to still do it next week. We're going to still do it.
Man, we're going to go back in time.
Said he'd rather say that for next week.
We're going to still do it.
We'll get people hyped up. You got to watch the next episode, man.
Yeah, no question about it, man. H-Town in the building, man.
Well, the news of always is always the NBA, man. Tonight we got Minnesota.
Yeah.
And they were up by the time last time I looked.
Looking like we're going to have a Game 7 so far.
Right.
Yeah, they were about like 20 at the time when I stepped out. So if they hold on, should be a good Game 7 in Denver in a couple of days or so, man. But yeah, I mean, I was worried, man, because they came out the gate, won those first two, and dominated the first two. Now Denver's won the next three, and I was like, oh man, but because I don't really care who wins, but I don't know if you noticed this, it's been a lot of blowouts in the playoffs this year, man. Been a few close games, but a lot of blowouts. And I just lose interest once a team is down by 20, 25.
Right.
So yeah, but hopefully this Game 7 will live up to the hype, and hopefully we'll get a Game 7 on the other side too with OKC and Dallas. But we'll see.
Yeah, it looked like it's heading towards a Dallas versus Denver, maybe. Hate to predict such a thing, but the other teams are young, so
yeah.
So say it's a Dallas and Denver.
Yeah.
You're taking Denver, you're taking Dallas.
Denver
you think Dallas finally breaks through?
Denver would be at home, but Dallas has something that they haven't had since they won the championship, when they had Tyson Chandler, that big guy, that rim protecting big guy, that lob threat guy in the middle. They got two guys like that now.
Yeah.
They got Daniel Gafford, and they got Lively.
Right.
They got Derek Lively.
And Reed, not as a 7-footer, but
Reed's with Minnesota.
Man.
You think about Minnesota.
I'm sorry,
Reed,
yes.
Yeah. But Dallas got those two practically 7-foot guys that you could throw on the Joker.
Right.
They're athletic. They can run. You're not going to stop the Joker, but the matchup is the key. So with those guys and Kyrie and the way P.J. Washington hooping, man, P.J. Washington has been the difference for Dallas. So if they get past OKC, which they beat OKC on the road the last game, so all they got to do is go home and close out. If they go home and close out, then, But, again, Minnesota's going to Game 7 so far, barring a miracle. So they won in Denver twice already.
Yeah,
hard to picture them doing it 3 times, but we'll see.
Watching the Denver game, Ryan, you're watching Joker versus the defensive player of the year 3 times running.
Come on, man.
Is this what you've come to expect by now as far as Joker? Or are you still... honestly, I'm still shocked. Like, it's still amazing. This guy's set of skills, right? He don't have the athleticism, but this guy's got everything. The left-handed hook, right-handed hook. He's got a teardrops. He's got 18-footer. He's got sweeping hook shots in the lane. He's got a three-point shot. He can assist. He's a playmaker. Like, he's so crafty. It's like kind of how you hear echoes of how Bird used to play that savant level intellect, IQ of the game. What he's doing, does it still surprise you? It still surprises me.
Nah, I'm not surprised at what the Joker is doing. I'm surprised with the first thing you said. I have never in my life seen where a defensive player of the year had to get switched off of his guy that he's guarding. Okay, now, they were just talking earlier, they were talking about how if you look at the numbers, Karl Anthony Towns is actually guarding Joker better than Rudy Gobert is, right? So when they showed the numbers, it's like he shoots a lower percentage against Karl Anthony Towns. So now they saying, well, man, we probably got to put Karl Anthony Towns on. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all got the defensive player of the year. It's no way in the world that this Legends 34 podcast, it's no way in the world that Akeem Olajuwon would have to be switched off of in his prime, in his defensive player of the year season, would have to be switched off of the guy that he's guarding, regardless of the position. So, and another thing that works against Rudy in this situation, Rudy don't even have to exert energy on offense.
Nope.
All he have to concentrate on is defense. In the days of Olajuwon, he had to score 30 and try to lock his guy up, and he guarding David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal. So I ain't never in my life seen a defensive player of the year have to call switch.
Right.
Because he couldn't guard in the year that he won it.
Right.
He just won it a week or two ago. So that's what I'm more shocked at. Joker gonna do what he do.
Yes.
You know. Now I will say in the last game, Joker was hitting some shots. You know, he was doing just like you just got through describing. He flipped, bounce off his head, and you know, throw it, do a Pat Beverly and throw it off the lady's face and then go ahead. He doing all that, but you know, that's when a great player becomes a next level player, because a great player don't get his numbers anyway. But when a great player goes into a zone, now he's unstoppable. But nah, Rudy, man, that's embarrassing, bro.
It is, man.
That's embarrassing, man. Like,
especially getting in the fashion he was doing it right underneath the rim.
And see,
not out on the 3-point line, right?
And you're 7'2". So, look, I'm not talking like I'm no hell of a defensive player, but I know one thing. Every shot that a guy makes, when you're that height, it needs to be made over a contested, outstretched arm. You know, don't let a guy get angles on you. You know, Joker's bigger. He can move Rudy. He can bounce him down. But no matter how much bouncing down he does, you still have to stay square with him to where at the end of the day, he still had to get that shot over your wingspan, over your outstretched arm. So, man, you know, this dude got 4 defensive player of the years, man, and he still don't seem to, in certain situations, know fundamental defensive principles, man. So, we'll see.
Well, we'll see, man. But can't leave out the East Coast. You got the Knicks look like they maybe got enough magic left to finish that season. That series out, who knows? Again, it's a crapshoot with the Knicks, especially the injuries they're dealing with. Yeah. But the Celtics look like they got the train on the track.
They waiting. The Celtics waiting. Cleveland had some injuries. You know, when Donovan Mitchell went down, and then LeVert went down.
Speaking of Donovan Mitchell, what happened to load management? I guess it don't work, huh?
It don't work with none of them.
Isn't that supposed to prevent that exact scenario? And here we are. They needed him, and he had to sit out not 1 but 2 games, and that was the series, 2. Man.
But it's not working with none of those players, man. I mean, you can go into the regular season. You can go into the injuries are still where they've always been or more. The same players are still getting hurt, and it seems like the guys who commit more to playing every night are the guys that don't get hurt as much. You know, that's just, I would have to look at numbers to verify that, but I look, it's like, you know, we always say what you want to say about Kevin Durant, say what you want to say about James Harden. They play every night. They show up and they play. You know, Steph Curry, if he can play, he plays. But but Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen was already out. So you don't have your big man. They would have they won, I think they won 1 game, 1 or 2 games. They would have given Boston a bit more of a challenge if they had all those guys. But, you know, the Knicks series, that's probably going to go 7 because they're going back to Indiana. And Indiana plays a lot better.
Right.
And you just mentioned how banged up the Knicks are, man. You know, Anunoby's gone. He's not coming back, at least for this series, if they can hang on. Mitchell Robinson, the big man's out. And Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo, they playing
outside themselves.
and they playing a bunch of minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you wearing these guys down. So even if they do advance, man, they're gonna be so beat up by the time they get to Boston, man. It's gonna be tough. But I would like to see a game 7 on both sides in both conferences, and and hope it's not a blowout.
Yeah, like you said, you point out a lot of these tend to be blowouts. So
Yeah. I hate
strange.
blowouts unless my team is doing the blowing out.
Well, before we switch gears off of basketball, another scenario that is brewing is with Bronny James,
Yeah.
LeBron's son, as we know. I guess trying to be the first ever father and son in the league, and he's already in the NBA draft camps. They've measured him at a 40-inch vertical. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
We only have a very small sample size of him in college, and then, of course, he had the medical issue with his heart, but he's now been cleared to play in the NBA. The ultimate scenario, does LeBron come to Houston with his son?
Nah.
And I have to ask that because being a huge Rocket fan as we are, we laugh at it, but what other teams will embrace that scenario, right?
Yeah.
If you get one, you're getting two. Or do you really want both? Or that's just too much publicity, say, for a team like, say, the Spurs, you know what I'm saying? Or say they try to go to the Knicks, right? A team that's already established, and maybe LeBron and his son or some other player, he gets to come with him. Yeah. Look like there's scenarios unfolding here, right? With his son in tow.
I'll say this. It all depends on what that particular franchise's ultimate aim is. If you bring, this is all hypothetical. You bring a guy like LeBron in, automatically the revenue shoots up.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are owner and you're saying, well, man, we could really make a big financial jump having this guy on our team, then you may do it for that. If Bronny gets drafted to some team, even a small market team, that says, man, LeBron wants to come with it, okay, you do it for that reason. But I did hear Bronny in the interview say that he's just trying to get himself prepared to even be able to play in the league. He basically said that media is putting more emphasis on him playing with his dad than he's not. I don't think he's tripping on that. I really don't. I think LeBron is more focused on that than Bronny is. Bronny like, I'm just trying to make the league. But like you said, with a small sample size, yeah, we haven't seen much of him, but he came to camp 210, solid.
Yeah.
So you said 40-inch vertical. So the athleticism is there. Now, he ain't but 6'1", but here's the deal. If we are expecting him to come in and be a franchise-changing player, a superstar player, that's not who he's gonna be. I don't think that's ever who he's gonna be. He can shoot a little bit, but if he just focuses on, this is my opinion, if he just focuses on coming in, man, I'm gonna be a solid defender, a solid floor general type of dude, just running the offense, come in, play some good minutes.
Charlie Ward, huh?
Yeah, it's Charlie Ward. Then he got 10, 15 years in the league. That gets you 10 years minimum.
Right.
Then over time, your game gets better. He's already shooting pretty. I would put it like this. I say that he will come into the league being a better outside shooter than LeBron came into the league being, right? LeBron really couldn't shoot on the outside. But the last thing I'm going to say on that is this, and y'all open your minds for a second. What's more intriguing to me than LeBron and his son playing together would be for me to see them play against each other in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to see more than anything, because you got a lot of brothers that are in the league, but it's about 5-6 sets of twins in the NBA.
Right.
But you got guys who have been actual brothers in the league, the Holiday brothers. They play against each other all the time. You see that, but so that dynamic is cool. But a father and a son,
Right.
then they get switched on each other, matched up. I mean, that's way more interesting than them
that's
playing
true.
on the same team. You know, even if it only happens twice or 3 or 4 times a year. So that's what I want to see.
Maybe that's what LeBron's trying to avoid.
Getting switched out and getting crossed over by his son, you know, but then he gonna come back on the other end and put him in the box, you know.
Right.
So I mean, I would be more interested to see that than them playing together. And plus, like you say, I don't think too many franchises want to handcuff themselves or tie themselves to that. Like, okay, you know, because with LeBron, you don't just get a player. You get the circus. You get the whole thing, everything that comes with it. He got all these demands and all these different stipulations that's required for him to. And it ain't too many franchises unless you just want the money, because he gonna bring the bread. I wouldn't want to deal with all that. So don't be saying he coming down here. We fine. We don't need him coming down here. We good.
Very intriguing how that all is going to play out, but
Yeah.
we'll see. One other note of the NBA, have you heard about the NBC possibly getting the rights
Yeah.
over at TNT,
Yeah.
which would do away with the Barkley Shaq
Right.
Kenny Smith show that's been on for, 20 years?
20 plus. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah,
Just
I
changing
saw,
the guard, it happens, move on, huh?
Well, it's business. It's a money deal. You know, NBC is offering $2.5 billion to get those rights. TNT, from my understanding, has to match or better that in order to retain the rights. So if they don't, it's business. So if you are the NBA, you're like, okay, hey, TNT, we love you and all this here, but we taking the highest bidder. So I saw Barkley in an interview, and he was basically talking about it, but he spoke about it in a way that indicated that it ain't looking too good.
Right.
Like the writing is on the wall. Like this could be it for that that show as we know it. I think if it happened, they would have one more season. You know, you can double check that, but I think they would get next year. It would still be next year. Then after that, it would be a wrap. But you know, from a entertainment standpoint, it'll be a big hit and a big loss. When I say hit, I don't mean like success hit, like a bad hit for the NBA. And because, man, just like you said, man, that show has been a staple for 2 decades. It's whole generations of players and people that have grown up. Look, it goes back so far, Doug, that it's people that don't even know that Barkley and Kenny played.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They laugh at Barkley like, no, this dude's one of the coldest dudes ever.
Right.
So it's a staple. But that chemistry and the humor and everything they bring outside of basketball mixed in with the basketball knowledge, that's going to leave a void, bro. That's going to leave a void if they lose. Because what you going to replace it with? You know, the league takes the money. NBC gets the rights to take the money. But what crew are you going to replace it with that's going to match that? It ain't no crew that can match that. Now, they did say they had other scenarios of the smaller deals in place where they could still get one night out the week with them and all that. But, you know, times like this time of year, where they do the playoffs, they on almost every night. And I know the ratings reflect that. But last point, Barkley was saying 3-4 years ago that he was getting ready to probably wrap it up anyway. You know, they signed a new deal a few years ago that made it like, well, I can't quit now because of the money that they got. But I think Barkley was really kind of getting ready to wrap it up anyway.
Right.
So, and Kenny was interested in coaching at one point, general managing that. Shaq doing everything anyway.
Yes.
And Ernie will still be on TNT because Ernie does baseball, golf.
That's right.
So he wouldn't just be confined to basketball. So individually, all those guys would be all right. But that show, it's going to be missed. Hey, can't lie about that.
Changing of the guard, right? That's how it is. Like you said, it's business. All righty, man. We're going to pick up with the Texans and of notoriety, Reggie. We got the Texans TV schedule. We alluded to this last time we talked about, and they end up getting, as we can see here, you open up CBS and NBC, Chicago on the 15th. the 7 o'clock. I guess it's a Sunday night game.
That's a Sunday night prime time right
And
there.
then the 31st on Halloween, we get Amazon Prime Thursday night against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, we're hoping, right?
Right.
And then NBC, I guess another Sunday night
3
game.
in a row.
Detroit,
Right.
here against Detroit. And then on ESPN, we get to play them boys.
The big one.
In Big D.
Yeah, they got the big one.
And then we got one on a Netflix on Christmas. We get to play the Ravens.
They got Kansas City, too.
Yes, that's right.
On
Kansas
another-
City.
Yeah, NBC noon game.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So
Yeah.
Texans are going to get some shine this year. Definitely get some ratings. Definitely get a bigger audience, and deservingly so.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, no, you know, it's
We earned this, right?
yeah, without a doubt. And then you know, C.J. Stroud is in that category of must see. You know, the people want to watch. And
Right.
now you throw Stephon Diggs in the mix and Joe Mixon in the mix without what they already had. Yeah, that's a team that people are gonna want, not just locally. You know, we're happy to see them get some national exposure because we the hometown. We want to see them, but I'm certain that there's people all around the country that want to see the Texans. I don't see any problems that those games, those primetime games, are gonna have from a rating standpoint. People gonna watch the Texans play. It's just
Man.
playing against Kansas City and teams like that. You know, even the second week of the season they play against Chicago, because if Chicago drafts Caleb Williams from you, I mean that's gonna be a game people want to see. You know, number 1 pick playing against last year's number 2 guy. So
Right.
yeah, it's cool. You know, because we know we didn't see our ascension happening this quick.
Right.
I know I did. I'm just gonna be
Me
real.
neither. Only a lot of us
but
did.
now, but the one thing that we looked at as we were scrolling those games, we were looking at that side of the ledger.
Right.
But the key is that side with
Right.
the game, the actual team. You know, they got a first place schedule now, so you know they got to really get off to a good start. Those first 2 should absolutely be winnable. And who knows what'll happen in Minnesota? The way I'm looking, they should be 3-1 minimum by the time you get to Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, so got to get out to a good start, man. Don't get drunk on last year.
Yeah, let's hope Stephon Diggs has a 200-yard game in that Buffalo
yeah,
game.
no question. and you know, and then with CJ, it could be Stephon Diggs, but it could be Nico. It could be
Right.
Tank there. Somebody made a great quote about him last year. They said his favorite receiver is the open man.
Yeah, that's it.
He doesn't make the mistake that a lot of other quarterbacks make where I'm just going to lock in trying to throw to this guy. I got to get this guy. If this guy ain't open and that guy is, he going to throw it to the open guy.
That's it.
And that's the kind of quarterback I want. That's what you need.
Which the Texans did go out and get another receiver from the Rams.
Yeah.
I think he won a ring with them. Don't get me to pronounce his name. Stephania? Stephania? I don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll have to look him
But the
up.
point is that, you know, can never have enough receivers, especially like last year where they had it rolling, but then Nico Collins, he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then Tank Dell got hurt. And
I think Robert
can-
Woods got hurt, too.
right, you can never have enough receivers, and I
Right.
think they have that locked down this year
Right.
because they have such an amazing quarterback. You're going to have to have receivers suited up out there. So I like this approach, man.
And that core, man, like I say, you talking about Nico had a breakout year last year. I think Nico had about over 1,000 yards receiving last
I think
year.
so, yeah.
Okay, so he was basically our number 1 receiver last year. He was the number 1. Tank got hurt. Tank is that wild card, that deep threat, that
Nobody
big
saw
play,
coming.
Yeah, that big play threat. So now you got Nico, Tank, and Stephon Diggs. Those secondaries, they're going to have problems playing the same, especially when you got a quarterback that can get it to them. So it's going to be fun to watch. And boy, if that offensive line come through and that running game is balances out, it's going to be a problem, man. It's going to be a problem for teams to stop that.
Too bad Richard ain't here to comment on the.
Oh, we'll get him on it next week. But you know what?
They ain't got no secondary. They in trouble.
I'm gonna tell you one of the low key things that happened. We talk about all the additions that the Texans made as far as player personnel. One of the low key things that happened that really made the difference is keeping Bobby Sloyd, the offensive coordinator,
right?
Because he did such a great job last year that it was rumored that he's going to start getting interviews and then possibly leave to get a head coaching job. By keeping him, now you still got that rapport between him and CJ. You ain't got to come in, bring some new guy in, learn each other, and get the new system. And 1 year later, that's going to be a problem, man. I'm telling you, it's a good problem.
Yeah, good dilemma to have, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. They couldn't lose him, because I heard the rumblings like, man, we might lose Sloyd. It's like, but he stayed, at least for now. So they should be all right.
Well, I think I'm going to move on to baseball unless you got another issue with the Texans
I had baseball
or the
on my
NFL.
mind. Yeah, I had baseball on my mind, man. Yeah, let's go.
Baseball, of course, the new development with the Astros, which is unfortunate, is Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Who? Benny Blanco. You remember Benny Blanco from the
illegal
Bronx?
substance.
Yeah.
And he's been suspended for 10 games, right?
Top of the fourth, 1-0 Houston, and this is an interesting scene because they're passing around Renel Blanco's glove. The umpires checking it. Now Joe Espada out checking it.
And they are immediately taking the glove off the field. They're not too happy with their explanation right now.
And we'd like to welcome Edward Guevara. He's with us tonight, and he was at the game.
Oh, man,
and he got to see firsthand.
Eddie, did you the one who gave him the stuff? Gave him the rosin? Rosin is a hell of a drug.
If you don't mind, I'm going to steal Edward's call signs for the game. He saw this, and then he saw that.
Man,
he's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, because during it, they don't show what's happening on TV. They have like the kiss cam or like the kids like muscles. So you don't know what's happening, so you have to stare at the field, and you're just going by hand gestures. And I was like, oh, they're cheating again.
Man, you know what? And see, you just took the word right.
About to kiss his ass 10 games out of the game.
Bro, this is not the time.
Yeah. Right, man.
Doing anything, man. Don't do nothing. I don't need you to don't wipe your nose. Don't look at your girlfriend in the crowd and wink at. Don't do nothing, man, because we're
under a microscope.
Man, we under a magnifying glass. We like an ant under a magnifying glass, bro. And what's crazy is that I listen to a lot of sports radio, and sometimes I listen late at night. And a lot of those national guys, man, they
love it,
killing the Astros. Even now, because they so salty because their cheating teams still didn't win.
Right.
Everybody cheats in baseball, just by how. But they mad because their big market cheating teams didn't win. The Yankees and the Dodgers or whatever. But the point is, when you know. And Blanco wasn't even on the team when all that other stuff was happening. Like, you can't come into those. Oh well, I'm on the team that cheated. Let me just go and cheat some more. It's like no, but that was tough, man. I hated that happened. He claimed that he didn't know. Of course, that's what you got to say. You got to say, I didn't know that it was illegal to have this or have that, But man, that's the last thing, man. We don't need no more. We don't need to give them no more ammunition to talk about how much the Astros are cheating and all that stuff now, man.
Right, they already have this
I like, now why these pictures so
dark
good?
cloud hanging over them.
Yeah.
We're already trying to shake that. And, now this.
And he was pitching so good. It's like, man, I don't like to say that's the reason why.
Right, the no hitter.
Yeah, and a bunch of great games after that. Good outings after that. But it's just not a good look, man. It's not and right now, by them getting some of their pitchers back,
they're playing good, right? I was about to bring that up, man. They've won, I believe, 6 out of the last 8.
Yeah.
I think they won tonight.
They're coming. Yeah. So it's getting to the point where it's leveling out. The schedule is getting a little easier. Verlander's back, and
Framber had a great
game yesterday, and Javier pitched tonight. So the bottom line is that those core guys are back. So now they can probably gain some ground, because it don't matter what you do in your lineup. Pitching is what wins in baseball. And if you don't have a strong rotation, man, and we was dealing with guys that was coming out early in the season can't get out the second inning, you giving up 4-5 runs in the first. That's not gonna work, bro. So it's good to get these guys back, man.
Yes, hopefully right on time they can make a little push to get out of the cellar, right? At the bottom.
Yeah, they coming.
But I've watched this Bill Simmons. Yeah, exactly. Bill Simmons.
It's the greatest shot in the history of the NBA, and it's not even an argument. It's the greatest. Like, you could argue in other sports, like, what's the greatest home run? What's the greatest touchdown pass? What's the greatest hockey goal? You can go all the way through, but this is like inarguable. This is the greatest shot anyone's ever made. It swung a title. It had the highest degree of difficulty. There's no other shot in the argument.
Anyway, Bill Simmons had this video out. It's 15 days old, and he's talking about Ray Allen and the shot. And
in Miami?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And he's boldly claiming this is one of the greatest shots, if not the greatest shot in NBA history.
Yeah.
I don't want to know, first, your feelings on that.
Yeah.
And after you share your feelings, I wanted to add on to that. But I want to know first, what do you think about that? You think that's the greatest shot
off the
of
dome,
all time?
Off
in
the
NBA
dome,
history?
I wouldn't say of all time, but I would say if it's three, if top three, it's definitely top three. And I would have to think about two more to put it in that category, but that's just off the dome. And the reason I say that, why he could be right, is because we got to remember the context and the circumstances. San Antonio's up 3-2.
Yeah.
And they win this game, they close it out. It's over. It's over. Series over. They had already roped off the court.
Fans had left the building.
People had left. They was already wheeling, taking out the shirts and the champagne out of. They were taking that stuff into the Spurs locker room. So a shot is taken and missed. I think LeBron missed a shot.
Correct. Yes.
Chris Bosh gets the rebound.
The offensive rebound.
After Popovich takes Tim Duncan out for who knows why.
Reasons.
We don't know why he takes one of the greatest players, one of the best rebounders out, and Bosh gets that rebound, kicks it to him. Okay, if Ray Allen misses the shot, it's over. It's over because they're down. See, and what like I say, what makes me say that I know it's top three, and it could be 2 or 1, is because the pressure in that situation that Ray Allen got to be under. It's like, this is the game not tied. We not up by 1. We down by 3. I missed this shot. Everybody's looking at me like, man, he had a look, he missed a shot, and he drained it, bro. So if it's not 1, it's absolutely 2 or 3. But the only way, real quick, to really kind of make a determination of where it ranks is you would have to have a pool of more shots. Like you think about Kyrie's shot in Game 7 against Golden State, the shot he hit.
Right.
You know, you think about Magic's hook shot, but that wasn't a game-ending shot. So it's up there, man. It's up there.
The Kawhi shot against when he played for Toronto.
Yeah, but that went in the finals though. See,
true.
Yeah, that was playoffs.
But it determined the series, right?
It ended the series,
right?
You know, so but that was because I've seen the Jordan shot against Brian Russell.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? When they say he
Cavs shot
smacked him on the butt, but
I want to emphasize, because the article or the video Bill Simmons did, he points out, which was interesting, how Ray Allen meticulously backpedals without looking into precisely between the 3-point line and the out of bounds line without looking.
Right.
His feet are exactly where he needs to be, and he catches his shoes.
Man,
right. That is amazing.
Let's do this. Show the elevation and the form when he shot that shot. If you ever watch that in slow motion,
outstretched arm, right?
If you watch it in slow motion, he, like you say, he catches, he backpedals, he knows where he is, but he raises up body, textbook form, body perfectly vertical, eyes and head focused on nothing but the rim, 20,000 people. He did not see none of those people. That was just textbook. But what he said, to your point, he said that he practices that shot.
Yeah.
You know, he practiced that same shot. So when he did that, his words was, it wasn't something that was new to him because he had actually done it. It was part of his routine and the repetition. It was just another thing that he had plenty of reps on. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good argument. It's a good argument that it could be number one. I would have to probably go home and think of some more, but it's automatically top three. Right. Automatically top three at the worst.
Well, what was going to add to that is, of course, this Legends 34. Greatest shot in Houston Rockets history.
Yeah.
Mine would be Vernon Maxwell, the shot, Game 7.
Over the Knicks?
On the Knicks.
Yeah.
I wanted to know your thoughts.
I got a few.
Ralph Sampson against Lakers.
Ralph against the Lakers that put us in the finals in '86.
Talk about that for a minute, because that is a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I've seen the highlights, but I'm assuming watched it live?
I definitely watched it live. Because I was in high school, and they was on the West Coast, so it was late at night. I was supposed to be asleep going to school, but I'm watching on my little TV that I had in my room. And in LA, the Rockets was up 3-1. Lakers won game 1 because it was automatic. Like when we meet the Lakers in the conference final, like, the Lakers finna win. It's gonna be Boston in LA again. The Rockets lost game 1. They won the next 3. They get back to LA for game 5, and it's like, well, LA is gonna win game 5. And Akeem gets into a fight with Mitch Kupchak.
In front to Level, looks like he's shooting left. There's a fight. Olajuwon and Kupchak. Now Lucas throws Olajuwon down, but I think it's a stopgap measure.
He's just holding him.
So too.
Look at Worthy and
Peterson going at it.
That's right. They both go down the same
Gets
hallway.
ejected. You know, he bang, uppercut Mitch Kupchak, knocks Mitch Kupchak out. Big brawl breaks out. Sampson, Maurice, Lucas. This is the same game. Akeem and Kupchak gets kicked out of the game. So they play the game. Robert Reed is playing, rest in peace, Robert Reed.
Yes.
Robert Reed is playing point guard because we had lost Lucas in the middle of the year to drug suspension. Okay. Last play of the game, it's 1 second left. I think McCray inbound the pass, if I'm not mistaken. I think Rodney McCray inbound. All Sampson had time to do was catch it. He never landed. He jumped in the air, he caught it, never landed, turnaround shot. Kareem didn't jump.
Tips, huh?
Kareem, show this. Kareem didn't jump. He just looked up like it wasn't the time. Bing, 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 falls in. Best part of that whole shot, Michael Cooper just collapsed. He just collapsed on the floor. He just landed on the floor looking up like somebody knocked him out. But that shot, of course, Mario Eddiel kiss of death. That shot.
Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt, that won the Phoenix series. Another shot that's real underrated in Rockets history. The Maxwell shot you mentioned is underrated, but another shot that's real underrated.
Miami?
No.
Falling out of bounds?
Yeah, but that was regular season.
Yes.
Remember Eddie Johnson hit the shot against Utah.
Oh, yes,
You know,
from like 40 feet.
Yeah, the walk-off.
It was far out.
But the one that I wanted to say was really underrated. Game 1, 95 finals.
Hakeem's tip-in?
Hakeem's tip-in. Nobody talks about that. That's a game winner.
Yes,
that's a game
true.
winner at almost at the buzzer. Clyde drove, misses shot, Hakeem tips it in. We win game 1. That set the stage for the sweep.
That was it.
So, and it's plenty more that we could probably think of because the Rockets, have a pretty strong playoff history, man. But those ones we just named are probably in that top 3 to 5, of all time, man, like that.
And I'm glad we're talking about this because it segues into these other little stories that you hear, right? Again, before my time.
Yeah.
The series with the Rockets and Lakers.
In 86?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this the one where James Worthy gets busted at the Holiday Inn?
No, that was in the regular season.
Oh, okay, that's the regular. Is it the same year?
No, it wasn't the same year. That happened later.
I heard that he gets popped with these prostitutes on Telephone Road, Holiday Inn, and then the game following in the Summit, he gets a standing ovation.
No, this is what happened. And I blame I blame HPD. Y'all had one job. James Worthy gets caught with the hookers. The game is either the same night or the next night. I don't know if the Lakers had got in town beforehand and it happened. Whatever happened, James Worthy gets bonded out of jail just in time to make it to the game in like the second quarter.
Oh, really?
So HPD had one job that night, man, you know, and he came to the scores table in like the second quarter. So I'm watching it on TV. I'm like, man. And Buck Johnson is the dude who, you know, was guarding. Back then, you guarded your position. Centers on center, small forwards on small forwards, guards on guard. And, man, this dude shows up in the middle of the second quarter and still finishes with 30-something points, right?
Did he get a standing ovation?
I don't remember if he got
I've
a standing
heard that
ovation.
on talk radio.
I don't remember that part.
They said it was embarrassing as a Houston Rockets fan that the fans did that. But I think it's hilarious if it's true.
Yeah. I don't remember. That might be some revisionist history, but if he got a standing ovation, it should have been after the game when he hit 31 points. Because, first of all, you got to have some pretty good stamina to do what you were doing before. Go to jail, get out, come to the game, and still go for 30-something points, man. But my joke always was, man, y'all could have held that dude another hour, man.
Right, man.
You know
Come
what I'm saying?
on.
We could have got a win because it was hard. You ain't beat. That's when you ain't just beating the Lakers like that, man. Magic and all of them still there, man. So yeah, but that really happened, man. That really happened. Big game. Shout out to Big Game James, man.
Yes,
Salute to you,
man.
bro. Salute to Big Game
One of the
James.
50 greatest for nothing, right?
Man, without a doubt, man.
The other story, I don't even know if you've heard this. I heard this on talk radio years ago, and it was Dan Marley on an interview, and asked him about the Mario Ellie kiss of death. Have you heard this story? It says that because they used to play together, Mario Ellie used to be a journeyman of somewhat before the Rockets.
No doubt.
It said that after he hit the game of death shot, he came to Dan's house and drunk all his booze.
Wow. Well, you know, they like to always talk about this generation.
You're talking about rubbing it in.
They too friendly and all this stuff. But people don't know, man, a lot of those guys back then, they hung out. You know, they were cool. And I didn't know that Dan Marley and Ellie kicked it like that because I can't lie to you. Well, you know what? Let me see. If that was my homie, man, and we was cool, even if he hit the game-winning shot, I don't know if he could have came and hung out with me. See, this ain't like hooping at the park at the gym.
Right.
This the NBA. You just knocked us out the play. I don't know if I want to hang with you right now.
Right.
We'll hang after the season, but yeah, that's a heck of a thing, man. So you took my playoff spot and my booze and my drink. That's cold blooded.
Insult to injury,
yeah. But it's possible, man. They try to act like guys wasn't cool back in the day. All them guys hanging out, man, like that.
Well, we did want to talk about this Tyson Fury fight coming up this weekend in Saudi Arabia. He's fighting Ukrainian Usyk. But scroll down, Reggie, if you don't mind. If I read this right. Fury, the 35-year-old British WBC champion, and his 37-year-old Ukrainian counterpart, Usyk, who holds the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO belts. So, I guess Usyk holds these belts. I guess he got from... someone step in anytime you're boxing experts. I'm assuming from the Ruiz or Joshua Daniels.
What belt does Tyson Fury? Because I know he's the champ.
Right. So I'm wondering if this is going to be some type of unification if he wins.
Okay, Fury is the WBC champ. Yeah, he's the WBC. See, that's the problem.
Anthony Joshua, excuse me.
With all of these different weight.
Well, I think Anthony Joshua had these belts, lost them to Ruiz. Again, someone, if I'm wrong here. And maybe now that's been lost to Usyk, and now Usyk has them up.
It's too confusing, man.
Right.
All these different boxing organizations that have a belt. So by the fact that this guy has what we seeing for the belts. Just imagine if he didn't. Just imagine if he had one of those belts and 3 other guys had the other 3.
Right.
Now you got 5 heavyweight champions, or 5 people that can lay claim to being a heavyweight champion. And I ain't with that. I never did like that. I like the old days where it was one guy, you know. So I guess this fight will unified unless.
That's what I'm pointing out. But I believe there's a belt here.
What, in Houston?
I'm talking about in the United States.
In the United States?
Who's that last heavyweight that fought here? Deontay Wilder fought. Besides
the guy he knocked out.
Well, Fury beat him, but yeah.
Man,
I believe
it's too much, man. It's
that's
confusing.
the point, right? There's all these belts floating around, but if it's to be unified, maybe this fight is going to do that or allude to another fight that will. I don't know, but it is interesting where heavyweight boxing has now gone, right? Let alone
Scroll down. Maybe they may mention if it's gonna unify. Let me see what a pre-fight. Now they talking about all this other different stuff. Yeah, they read about the wrong thing. For the throne, undisputed heavyweight. I don't know. I know both these guys old. This guy 37, and it's funny how we talk about a guy that has 4 belts, and I'm not even familiar with him like that.
Right.
You know, I think if I could walk up to anybody and say, hey, man, you know, what you think about Alexander Usyk? They're going to say, who?
Right.
You know, so it's crazy how boxing is and how the heavyweight division is.
This is the first undisputed world heavyweight title championship since '99 when Lennox Lewis defeated Evander Holyfield.
Wait a minute. So he's 37 years old, and he's only had 21 fights.
I guess he got started late. Scroll back up to the tail of the tape, Reggie. There's a graphic.
Man.
Yes, right here. Click on that graphic. Tail of the tape. Yeah. This should blow up here.
Hold on, man. Yeah, see, I mean, I don't
37-35. One's a southpaw. Hey, I didn't know that.
Man, Tyson Fury ain't had but 34 fights. See, I'm old school, bro. I'm old school, man. It's like you that old and look. Combine their fights, that's 55 fights.
Tyson had more fights than that.
By the time any of the other greats were that age, they already had that many fights. See, the economics and the politics and the fight game dictate where these guys pick and choose, and these promoters get involved, and they take so much time off. You go 2-3 years.
Load management again.
Yeah, they load managing in boxing, and you're not really active like that, man. So, yeah, this dude got 21 fights, man, and Tyson Fury got 30. Now, at least we've seen Tyson Fury. We know what he can do, but I'm gonna have to go home and watch this dude just to kind of even. I can't even make a prediction because I'm not even familiar with the guy. Yep. And when is this fight?
That's this Saturday, Saudi Arabia.
Okay, I'll make sure I check it out some kind of way.
All right.
I ain't gonna pay for it.
Well, I wanted to end on this note.
Some people love our crunchy tacos. Others, our soft tacos. Now Taco Bell introduces the double-decker taco. Our delicious original taco, joined with beans in a soft tortilla. It's the taste big enough to bring the two sides together. The double-decker taco. Only at Taco Bell.
Do you remember a long time ago after the finals, they had that Taco Bell promotion where Dream and Shaq was supposed to play a one-on-one?
On the 2-man bicycle.
Yeah.
And the double-decker taco.
Yeah, they did a commercial, but that was set up for them. They were going to play a one-on-one for I think like $1 million or something like that.
Right.
But it didn't happen. You know, I was like, I would love to see that.
Yeah, Dream had mercy on Shaq. It wouldn't have been pretty.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean.
Shaq would have got a few dunks in, but.
Shaq played Olajuwon better than any of the other centers during that run.
Right.
And he was young. So I give Shaq credit. But no, I ain't never taking nobody over Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Exactly, man.
This is Legend 34.
never, ever.
Ever? In his prime rookie years.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So my thing be, you know, ain't no excuses, man. You know,
Shaq's a big boy, man.
If you good enough to make it to the finals, because people like to say that all the time, well, Shaq was young. He wasn't young when he was getting to the finals.
Yeah.
He got there. You don't just get a free pass to the finals. So you was doing something to get there. So if you're doing something to get there, you can't use Young as the excuse. King was young when he played against the Celtics in '86. He was young.
Right.
Still averaged 25, 30 points.
Terrorizing them.
Yeah,
too.
you just faced a better team.
This was stopped.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll close it out in the segment. Anything else we've missed?
Nah, I think we got a lot of good stuff in.
We got a lot done.
It's a real good episode, too.
I mean, imagine Shaq his rookie year, man. He was at his prime, man.
27 and 12, ridiculous.
And like I say,
man? Like
but see, that's the key. That wasn't even his rookie year. That was his third year in the league when he went to the finals.
Right.
Shaq was in the '92 draft. They went to the finals in '95. That was his third year. So it wasn't like he was just getting to the league. But the fact of the matter is, you don't get to the finals by accident. You don't win 3 series by accident.
Right.
You know. So then you got Penny Hardaway, you got Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott. He had a good team, man. Horace Grant had a good team. Ain't no excuse. You got swept. You just beat Michael Jordan. Was you young then? They was too young. You wasn't too young when you beat the GOAT. Yeah. So just take your loss, man. Take your loss. And I love Shaq. I'm not shooting this at Shaq. I'm shooting this at the people who try to make that excuse all the time. Right. Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna wrap this episode up, man. It's episode 9, maybe the 10th time's a charm, and the weather will cooperate. Hopefully, get Richard Johnson on here, man. We have so many.
So I can put on all the chain. Yeah.
Right. So again, make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all drop comments. If you yet to see any comments, somebody got any suggestions on future topics we should be covering, let alone you got to tackle up them likes, man. And I guess we're going to see you next time.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.